Hi, hi. Hi, everyone. My name is Alessandra. I believe Chelsea's going to do an opening thing. Oh, it says she's left the room. Hi. So we're going to rock and roll. I think originally Chelsea was, oh, here she's back.
Hey, okay. Okay, so we're good. All right, and we're on our perfect. All right, good. It's funny. I was just reading in the chat. Hey, Chocolate and Jan and Lori. So I know Chocolate was saying that we're preparing for the hurricane, and I'm like, I hope that she's not here. She's knocking on my door right now. All right, let's see. Let's get your slides back up. All right. Okay, so we're back. So hey, everybody, or I'm back. I guess you guys have been starting with the preamble. So hey, everybody, welcome to Webinar Wednesday at Lulu. Thank you so much for being here. And yes, regardless if you are trying to prepare for the storm, Alessandra is in actually Key West right now. But I was saying I'm in Western North Carolina, and I might get it worse than her. So how funny how the cookie crumbles. So hey, tell us where you are and how you're doing. And if you are ready to talk about holiday marketing, so if you are staring down the barrel of holiday marketing, then you are in the right place. Alessandra has been kind enough to join us and talk about how we can make the most out of the holidays. And of course, we have a lot coming up right now, but holidays happen year round. There are opportunities for you to excite and entice your readers year round. But obviously, this is the right time to talk about it, as we are about to have several coming up right now. So just a couple of housekeeping things before we get started. We are streaming this to our YouTube channel, and it will be recorded. So if you are hopping out early or joining late, then you will be able to see everything in its entirety on our YouTube channel, and I will drop the link into that. Are questions okay? I should have asked that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. All right, great.
Yeah. And feel free to pop in questions as we go. If I see in chat a question and I see it, I'll definitely address it right then. Otherwise, at the end, I'm happy to answer as many questions as we have. And it doesn't have to be specifically on this topic, but I'm happy to answer as many questions as we have left time.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. So you guys have found the chat. We also have a Q&A tab. So if you do have questions, feel free to drop them in there. And without further ado, I will go ahead and turn it over. So as I said, we are here to make the most of our holiday marketing. And we're here with Alessandra Torre, who is an award-winning New York Times bestselling author with over 2 million books sold. As a self-published author, she hit New York Times, Wall Street Journal, and USA Today bestseller list, and garnered multiple six-figure publishing deals with Harlequin, Thomas & Mercer, and Hachette. 2 of her books have been optioned for film, and her books have been translated into over 20 different languages. She is the co-founder of InkersCon. I was there this year for my first time. It's a great event if you're not familiar. And this is a wonderful authors community that hosts year-round events for authors. And I will turn it over to you now. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you so much, Chelsea. I'm really excited to talk about this topic because it's something that often kind of creeps up on authors, and it isn't kind of until it's too late when, for the most part, we start thinking about it. So this is such a fantastic time and such a fantastic topic. Hi to everybody. It seems like there are a lot of us in the South, so it's great, and I hope that tropical storm or hurricane Helena, I don't know how we're pronouncing its name, is kind to us all. But like I said, I'm in Key West. I told Chelsea, hopefully my internet is good. I think we're going to be fine. I think I've got plenty of time before it gets to us. So let's jump right in. So what I'm going to cover in the next hour, I did it as a holiday recipe. I'm going to be talking about holiday sales mentality. So 1 scoop of holiday sales mentality, 3 cups of proper planning. We're going to talk about target markets for your holiday promotions, and promo and tech tools. And I'm going to share a handful of examples, mix it all together, let you marinate on it. And as you ask questions, again, feel free to pop questions in as we go. And I'll also cover as many at the end as I have time for if you guys have questions. Okay. Chelsea did such a fantastic job of introducing me. Sorry. So I won't cover that ground again. But I've been in this industry since 2012. I started in self-publishing. I'm now hybrid. So I am both traditionally and self-published. I work with self-published authors. That's my world much more. I claim that world much more than traditional publishing. And Lulu is such a fantastic company. As Chelsea mentioned, we had a chance to meet in Dallas this year at InkersCon. InkersCon is held also year-round. We have our 2024 conference is available right now. I'll have a coupon code if you're interested in it at the end. It's Lulu 2024 or Lulu 24, but that'll save you $50 if you're interested. Okay. All right. So first, let's talk about holiday mentality. So what I'm talking about really here is the mentality of your readers. And everything I'm talking about today could be for fiction or nonfiction. I am a fiction author, so a lot of what I'm going to be talking about and giving examples for are fiction examples, but honestly, everything I'm talking about today can cover both worlds. Okay, so what is important is that you understand kind of where your customers' heads are during this time and what their mentality is in terms of buyer behavior. So you are going to have a portion of your audience that is stressed. That is not necessarily a bad thing. They're juggling a lot of things. Holidays bring a lot of emotions out in our readers, and a lot of them are looking for an escape. So that's a great thing for us because we can provide a low-cost, inexpensive escape for them from the holiday hubbub if they're wanting to avoid that. They're also often very deal savvy. They have a lot of things to buy during a short period of time, so they are often on the lookout for deals. Not everyone, but a lot of time, but a large portion of the audience. They're also impulsive. This is kind of the time where they have to make quick purchase decisions, and they don't have a lot of time to price shop everything. It's kind of whatever is shiny and in front of them and potentially a good deal, they're going to click on it and they're going to buy, and they're not going to do in-depth research that they might do like in the middle of April when they've got nothing going on and no urgency to buy. They also want to feel spoiled during this time. A lot of times people get Christmas bonuses. A lot of times they're doing a lot of things for other people. So this is a really great time where they kind of often buy a Christmas gift or a few Christmas gifts for themselves. And so this is a great opportunity for us as authors, especially if we're offering something special. And then a large portion of the audience is extremely festive. And I'm going to talk about festive buyers in a moment, but that's the other portion of this is that there's a large part of the audience that really leans into the holiday. They just have this special energy in the air during these couple of months. And that energy can be very magical and exciting for us as authors if we have a product to sell. Okay, now the holiday season, when we're talking about kind of the winter holiday season, it's actually almost 3 months long. Okay, so you're going to have, I am in the purpose of this presentation completely ignoring Halloween, but Halloween is an absolutely fantastic holiday, and everything I'm talking about could be covered in the month of October also. Main reason I'm not talking about Halloween as much is because part of what I'll say is proper planning is important, and we are almost too late for Halloween, but not. So keep in mind Halloween when I'm talking about things. But for right now, I'm going to be talking about November, December, January. In November, you have a lot of early shoppers. I think I have a slide for this. Let's see. Nope, I'll get to it in a minute. You have early shoppers. So people are already starting as money comes in to start stockpiling gifts for Christmas. And I'm going to mention Christmas a lot. I am well aware that there are a lot of holidays, so please forgive. It's just easier for me to say Christmas than it is for me to say Christmas and Hanukkah and Kwanzaa and all of the other holidays. So please just keep in mind when I talk about Christmas, I'm really talking about kind of like all religions and all holidays that are during the final, 2 weeks of the year, like during that time frame. So people are already shopping for that in November. You also have Black Friday, which is a humongous opportunity, but also a very crowded time. So there's nothing wrong with doing a pre-Black Friday sale or, early Black Friday or doing something for Cyber Monday. You have Thanksgiving, which is an opportunity in its own, and I'll talk about those sort of things that are specifically tied to each holiday. Christmas vibes are starting to come in the air. So Christmas is already on everyone's mind, and it's a fantastic time to get your holiday orders all lined up and ready. If you are going to do a special holiday order for your readers, the time to launch it is November, 100%. So you can have a couple of weeks to promote it, and then plenty of time to get the books in and to get the orders out in time for Christmas or the end of year holidays. December, major Christmas vibes or holiday vibes. That is going to be more of a last minute gift type time frame. It's a great time to do giveaways. This is another time where people are starting to get their Christmas bonuses. And regardless of Christmas bonuses, they're looking for a little something they can get themselves, like a way they can treat themselves during the holiday. And you're having posthumous reading. So you have kind of a window where oftentimes someone will have a week off or a couple of days off. And a lot of times they want to escape the craziness of the holiday and read. You also have what we used to call Kindlemas, which is like a lot of people get gifted e-readers, they get gifted gift cards during the holidays. And then the kind of that week, what I'm from a resort town, so we call it Hell Week, but it's the week between Christmas and New Year's. That week is a time when a lot of readers have some downtime and they read. And they use a lot of the money or gift cards or opportunities that they, e-readers that they were given during Christmas, and they read. So a lot of times as authors, we'll see a spike in sales right after Christmas. And that kind of follows into January, where readers, again, have survived the holiday and still feeling festive. They oftentimes sometimes have extra money, and that's when they get themselves. That's another great time that they're exploring reader loyalty programs or loyalty programs in general. So if you have anything that allows them like bonuses or allows them a way that they feel like they're getting a little extra something for their money, that's a great time to use that. I'm going to dive into all of these concepts throughout the next 30, 45 minutes. But it's very important that you plan everything ideally 30 days out. So if you are thinking about a promotion next week, you're often too late, especially if you're wanting to have a print component attached to it. So it's really important that you plan everything 30 days out, if not even further. Today, now, you guys here, such fantastic timing, because you can start to put all your ducks in a row and be ready and ahead of the game for the holidays. Which isn't to say that you can't do something, especially ebook or digital related, in shorter time frames, but the more advanced planning, the better, especially because everything just gets crazier and crazier by the end of the year. So I encourage you to, at some point in time, ideally in the next few days, grab your calendar, write a to-do list of all of the different promotions that you want to do over the next 3 months and the different types of promotions that you want to do, which again, I'll cover in great detail here. And then kind of, space it out and plan it out on the calendar and see where it will work and see how well you can cover the holiday season with the different things, and then work backwards from each of those to see when you need to hit deadlines. The other things are printers, shippers, everyone is going to be slower and it's going to have a backlog. So just keep in mind, if it normally takes you, 7 to 10 days to get something, it's going to take potentially 10 to 14 days. That's just the name of the game. Okay. Major targets during this time. There are 3 major targets. I'm going to dive into each of them. So the first is the gift buyer. Second is the bargain hunter. And the third is the holiday lover. Okay. So let's talk about each of those. First, gift buyer. So this is someone who's looking for a gift for someone. And sometimes these are readers in terms of our world, but a lot of times these are the reader's spouse, the reader's family, the reader's friends, and those people might not be readers. So they might not know where to go to find things like this. So this is, if you have an advertising budget, this is a fantastic time to start targeting audiences that you normally wouldn't. If my normal audience is women aged 25 to 55, who read XYZ, maybe in this holiday time frame, I will target their spouses, right? Or their partners, right? Who don't necessarily have those interests, but are going to need to find something to purchase for them for the holidays. What is there to purchase, right? And think about that when you're doing that. If you are doing that sort of targeted advertising, the language isn't like looking for the next whatever. It's a great gift for a romance lover or something like that. You know what I mean? Or the perfect gift or the ideal gift for any science fiction fanatic or something like that. You know what I mean? And those those purchasers are not necessarily savvy. They are also not necessarily price sensitive. Okay. They don't know if $49.95 is a great deal for a hardcover book or is a horrible deal for a hardcover book. Okay. If they see something that looks nice and is well packaged and is well presented, they will buy it. So what are the different? So that's a gift buyer for a reader. You also have readers that are going to be purchasing for readers or for themselves. So what are the things that you can offer them? Special editions are fantastic for the holiday. It doesn't, if you can do a special edition that has some special features, a case wrapped dust jacket. Wow, I can't say that fast. Potentially some foil, fantastic. But anything that they don't already have is amazing. If you can do an extended edition, if you could do an alternative ending, or something with, author annotations at the end, or oh, excuse me. That was my puppy. That's my feet. I don't know if that came through the speaker, but she just belched. I'm sure at some point she'll be in my lap during this. But if you can do something like that, readers are going to be all about that. Especially, it doesn't matter if they already have the book. It's going to be something they're going to ask for Christmas. It's going to be something they're going to buy for their reader friends. Special editions are fantastic. Same with box sets. Box sets doesn't mean you have to create. You can either create like an omnibus that is one big thick book that has multiple stories or novels in it, or you can create a matching set, sell it as a set on your website or on retailers. And if you're in direct sales, this time especially is going to be monster for you. Signed copies. If you can offer signed copies, they are that much sexier. I do a holiday order form every year for my readers where they can buy. That's the only time of year that I offer readers the opportunity to buy signed copies from me. There's nothing special about them. They're the normal paperbacks that I would sell year round. But I write 3 or 4 words in the front, sign my name, personalize it, and they go out. And I sell each year hundreds of copies. It's a fantastic, nice little Christmas bonus for myself. And it's something that I only deal with again once a year. What I do is I create and post the order form like first 2 weeks of November. And then I order specifically exactly what is ordered. You know what I mean? Because I don't have room and space for extra stock. So I order exactly what customers have purchased for me. They arrive. Ideally, they will arrive in enough time that if there is something wrong, you can communicate with the customer. I sign them all and I send them out. And merchandise. So if you do swag, if you do extra sticker packets, if you do, bags, or if you do shirts or things like that, all of those things are fantastic, especially if you can bundle them with a book and sell them at this time of year. And this is the slide I was looking for earlier when I was talking about November, December, January. So 74% of customers are doing their holiday shopping in November and December. So 74% of customers wait kind of until the end of the year. 41% of them are really focused on it in November, especially that's in large part due to Black Friday, and 33% in December. So November is actually a bigger gift buying time than December in terms of consumers that are doing holiday shopping for other individuals. So that's a fantastic thing to think about, especially if you're into advertising. And so many authors wait until December, and December is oftentimes for 40% of those consumers too late. Okay, so the second major target audience is bargain hunters. And these are people that are either on a budget or they love a deal And a lot of these are impulse shoppers that buy because of a deal, not necessarily because of whatever it is that they're buying. So great things to pitch to them and to sell to them are discounted books, either discounted paperbacks, print copies, or discounted ebooks. This is a great audience to target with freebies and lead magnets. Keep in mind that your revenue or your growth doesn't always come from paid products. There are free items that if you can build your audience or build your mailing list off of, that is just as valuable as a sale oftentimes, because it will lead to future sales. So this is a great time, the holidays, to do freebies and lead magnets. If you aren't familiar with the lead magnet, pop it in the chat. And I love y'all say everyone wants to be seen, even dogs. I just saw that from Valerie. So yes, Donut is my puppy, and you will get to meet Donut before the end of this. She will make that certain. Discounted box sets. Those again can be ebook or print box sets, and BOGOs or bulk deals. So the more you buy, the more you save, that sort of thing. Or all of the first 4 books in this series are on sale. That's a great audience to go after with bargain hunters. Just another fact on consumer behavior, 56% say the holiday season is a great time of year to make purchases because of sales and discounts. So again, this is a big audience. And this is Donut. Donut is 3 months old and thinks that everything revolves around Donut, and just kind of vomited a little bit on her leg. So let me get that for you. Okay. All right, are you ready? Let's go. All right. Now, Jan said, what are lead magnets? So lead magnets are when I give a reader something for free. I'll give you an example of one a little bit later in the slide. And in order for them to get it for free, they have to agree to sign up for my email list. So I will be able to send them emails about my books, and they get this free novella or this free short story or this free entire book as a trade. And so it's couched in a much more smooth way. It's just like, oh, download this free short story or this free holiday romance, and enter your email address and authorize that I'm allowed to email you, and I'll email you this book. And what normally happens is you deliver that ebook or whatever that is. It might be like a deleted scene. It might be something else. You deliver that, and then you follow up that with 3 to 5 emails, sometimes more, sometimes less, that then kind of are like, oh, I just wanted to check in. Let me introduce myself. These are the type of books I write. Oh, you might be interested. I'm doing this special holiday sale for this week only of this other book. So if you really liked the story, or you like my writing, or you're interested, check it out. So that's how a lead magnet works. And I'll show you an example of one that's specifically holiday themed in a little bit. Okay, so the third audience is holiday lovers. And a holiday lover is, I'm a holiday lover. I love everything about the holidays. It doesn't matter what holiday it is. If it's a holiday, I'm there. I'm with bells and whistles. If I have a funny hat or a shirt or an outfit, I'm going to wear it. I'm going to decorate my house. I'm going to light a candle that makes me feel that way. And I love a holiday. Holiday lovers can be targeted so easily. They're like the lowest hanging fruit. Number one, holiday themed books. Some genres are more into this than others. For example, cozy mysteries. If there's a cozy mystery author and they're not writing a book that's themed on each holiday, they're leaving money on the table. Cozy mystery readers love holiday focused books. Think of your Hallmark movie watchers, right? There's a reason that they will watch 30 or 40 Christmas movies in a row, like throughout the month of December. Those are the people that we're targeting. So if you can do books, and it depends on how prolific you are, but if you can write books that are specifically focused and themed around the holidays, fantastic. I write very slowly. I've never written a holiday themed book because I only write 1 or 2 books a year. But for me, short stories and bonus items are my jam. For Valentine's Day, I will write a love letter from my main character to my other main character. I will write a action thriller short story that is based around Thanksgiving or Halloween or Christmas, and I will use that as a lead magnet, or I could potentially sell it as, you know, a short book, short print, special edition print copy, or as an ebook on the retailers. Giving them things like what I call Christmas cookies. So this is little things you deliver through your email list or through social media, or they have to sign up for your email list to get it. But they're things that are holiday themed. For example, like a Valentine's Day love letter, or maybe like one of your characters' eggnog recipe, right? Or another character's letter to Santa, something like that. But there are things that fit the holiday vibe, but also directly tie into your story. And hopefully, if done right, will create intrigue in your story so that if they haven't yet discovered that book, they're like, this seems like a world that I'd be interested in knowing more about. If they have already discovered your book, it's going to just take them one step closer to like super fandom. So that's a great thing. The holidays is a great time to take everyone and make them feel happier and more passionate about your brand, right? Like this is a great time to take that reader that is familiar with you and make them like, oh yeah, I really love that author. Or if they're already like that, it makes them just like start telling everyone about everything about your books. You can also do newsletter gifts, a gift or gifts. So that's where you give a gift. It can be a short story, it can be a Christmas cookie type thing, or it can be like a full-length novel and you give it to everyone on your newsletter. Before you do that, you should send out, you should make multiple posts on social media, scream it from the rooftops to any reader that will listen that, oh my gosh, I'm so excited about the Christmas gift that I'm going to be giving to every one of my newsletter readers. Next week, if you aren't on my newsletter, you don't want to miss out on this, sign up here. You know what I mean? Like heavily promote it in advance and then follow it up and actually send something out. It can be sent through email. It's not going to cost you $1, but it needs to be something. It needs to be like a short story. It needs to be a bonus epilogue. It needs to be something else. And again, I'll show you an example of one shortly. And something like an example of something that I did in the past, I sent Christmas cards to all of my readers. I say all of my readers, I sent, you could do a virtual e-card to all of your readers. I did actually where like in my Facebook group, you could sign up, you filled out a Google form, you provided your mailing address, and I actually mailed these readers Christmas cards. They were printed cards. I signed my name to each one, but other than that, I didn't have to do anything. And then of course I had to address and send out all of these. I printed them all out on labels. It took me like 2 or 3 hours on a Sunday afternoon. It wasn't too bad. I had 300 or 400 people sign up. And that was, again, labor intensive. It did cost me money. I had to order the cards, which I'll show you a picture of, but I think it was huge in terms of brand building and reader loyalty. And so many of those readers posted those cards online. They raved about it. It just kind of, again, took them a step closer to being super fans. Okay, so with all of these holiday things, whatever your promotions are, you have to figure out how you're going to communicate that to your audience and do as much as possible. So as much as you have time and bandwidth and money for. By email, 100%. By social media, 100%. Multiple times by social media. Like you cannot overshare it on social media. If you have funds for Facebook ads, it's a great time to do it. I would avoid the week of Black Friday because ads are going to be super expensive. Also, kind of those 4 or 5 days before Christmas is also going to be really expensive. And also another opportunity to do group promos. Get together with 3 or 4 authors that are in your same subgenre and say, hey, here's an idea of this thing that I had. An example of this is me and a group of authors did like an Easter egg hop, where readers hop from one of our social medias to another. Each time they would visit one of our social medias, there was a post that they had to like and comment on, and then it would send them to another author's social media. And so the goal was for us all to build our followers by cross-promoting this event. And we picked like 5 winners that each got an Easter egg basket filled with, 4 signed copies, one of each of our books. And so It meant that one person had to put together 4 gift baskets. We all shipped 4 copies of the book to her. She assembled it all, but it was fantastic. And we each got, 400 or 500 followers on our social media as a result. Tech tools. So I want to share a few of the tech tools that I use for all of these things. First, Book Funnel. Book Funnel is fantastic. Jan asked about lead magnets. The complication of, I'm going to give you this if you do this, all of that is solved by Book Funnel. Book Funnel handles all of the tech side of things, makes it so easy. If a customer is confused or has any questions, they just reach out to Book Funnel. It's very inexpensive. I think it's like $20 for a year for the most basic plan. And it's just a fantastic organization. They're like Lulu. They have a great reputation in the space. And they are strictly ebook or audio. They don't do anything physical. Retailer promos. So check your retailers to see if there are opportunities there for specific promos. As far as print needs, you guys have your print needs handled with Lulu, so you don't have to worry about that. But you will want to be creating like graphics to advertise the different things. I love Canva. PicMonkey is also a really great site. If you are not tech savvy, but you want to create kind of professional looking images, both of those sites have fantastic templates and are very affordable considering what all you can get and what all you can create. Now, I want to show you a few examples of different things that I've done in the past. So here's an example of an audiobook giveaway, and I used something like Canva or PicMonkey to put like this bow. All you need is 1 or 2 things that take something from being like a normal giveaway to being holiday themed, right? Like if you can put snowflakes across, your teaser, for something, or a bow. So I did an audiobook giveaway. I said, I'm giving away 20 audiobook copies of Hidden Scenes, My Enemies to Lovers Romance. To enter, just sign up for my monthly newsletter here. Ignore the typo. I typed this out myself. So, and I put a bow on this. Now I had audiobook codes from my retailer. So that's what I was talking about, kind of take advantage of your retailer promos. And I just said, any new subscribers between the next 5 days, I just considered them part of this giveaway. And I sent out, I selected 20 winners and I sent out these codes. Everyone else I emailed and was like, I'm so sorry you didn't win, but thank you so much for subscribing. And I probably pointed them to the audiobook sales page or gave them, a bonus scene or some other item. You can also, a cleaner way to do this would be, instead of having them sign up for your newsletter, have them fill out a Google form, which you will add to your newsletter, but it puts them all in a bucket. And then it also allows your existing newsletter subscribers to also enter this giveaway. Here's an example of a graphic I use for my signed books order, which I do, again, only at the holidays. I normally post it in November. And I just have a graphic like this. I made this in 5 minutes on Canva. And it says, sign books, order now for shipment by December 15th. So what you need to do, though, is make sure you work with Lulu. You work on your own timeline and are able to estimate and work backwards so that you can kind of keep this promise that you will be able to deliver and ship by the 15th or by whatever date you say. Here's a graphic I did for holiday sale. I just put, a Santa hat on and went outside and posed with this paperback. And it said, pamper yourself this holiday season with a fantastic deal and a story that will keep you up past Santa's bedtime. So I use a lot of holiday language in a lot of my posts, pretty much from November 15th on. Like I'm obnoxious about it. I'll be like, gobble, gobble, gobble up this deal. I don't know. I say a lot of things like that. ChatGPT is a great way. You can put a paragraph or 2 in ChatGPT and say, please make this Thanksgiving themed. Please make this, Valentine's Day themed. And it does a great job of finding witty little phrasing and things like that, that makes it, that makes something infused with the holiday spirit. But this was an ebook promo that I did. I said the good lie is only $1.99 for the next 3 days. So this was an example of, again, a normal ebook sale that I did, but I tried to theme it and promote it as a holiday sale. Okay, Heather said with the signed books for the holidays, I'm going to go back to this. Is it just social media post or a clickable button? I'm not sure I understand your question, Heather, but I'm going to try to go into deeper how I do this. And if it answers your question, great. And if it doesn't answer your question, please just follow up, because I want to make sure that I answer your question. So with the signed books for the holiday, I promote it via like this would have been a graphic that I would have put on a social media post. So in the body of the social media post, I would have had a link. And for me, I do my signed book orders through Jotform. That's the program that I use. I am almost positive that I have a YouTube video that describes it. Okay, I understand. So I have everything go through my Jotform form. There they can click on each thing, and then it collects their payment, and then it sends everything to me. And so I don't use my website. I'll use my website in terms of like I'll make a blog post that talks about it, but then it sends it to Jotform. Everything goes to the Jotform site. So, and I promote it on social media. I don't sell it through TikTok Shop or through Instagram or through anything else. I just make posts on all of those social media sites, and they all send to my Jotform, that's the program I use. A lot of authors use a Google form or something else. I wanted something that could collect their payment immediately and could also, I could easily through PayPal print out shipping labels. So that's why I use Jotform, but there are other options that you can use. And Jotform isn't very expensive. I think I pay like $15 maybe, and I only need it for a month or two, long enough, however long I have this order. So really 1 month is fine. And then you can close your account or whatever else. But I like Jotform for it. It was super easy. And it integrated with PayPal. So the payment is accepted through PayPal. And then I'm just able to print out labels and packing slips. And it was just, I didn't have to copy and paste those addresses into a different form or a different program. Yes, perfect. Okay. And here's the free gift. So I talked about you could give like a free Christmas gift or any type of gift to all of your newsletter subscribers. I gave them a free copy of Tripping on a Halo, which is my least successful book. I think it is super cute and funny and light. It's like a romantic comedy chick lit type book, which is not in my wheelhouse. It's not what I normally write, which is why it's my least successful book. But I thought it feels perfect for the holiday season. Out of all of my books, it's the lightest and fluffiest. So it just felt like a holiday read. And I made this graphic that just, I'm positive I made this in PicMonkey. And I said, Merry Christmas, Torreville. Torreville is my reader community. And I said, for Christmas, I'd like to give you all a copy. It's an ebook copy of Tripping on a Halo. And as far as delivery of this, I created a book funnel page. It takes like 5 minutes. And I said, I want to collect email addresses. So in order for this, I actually gave out to all of the people in my Facebook group, all of the readers in my Facebook group. And I said, to download this, just enter your email address. It will subscribe you to my reader newsletter. And so this is an example of a lead magnet. So when I talked about lead magnets before, it does double duty. It is a lead magnet. It's also a free gift to all of the readers that are in my Facebook group. You could just as easily post this and say, and to anyone who follows you on social media or to anyone who comes across this social media post, and they will all get this ebook copy for free, but they have to subscribe to your newsletter to get it. So again, this is a great way to just promote a lead magnet, but disguise it kind of as a holiday gift. Here's an example of the Christmas card that I sent out to my readers. So again, I had them enter their email address through a Google form. I then exported all of those in Excel into like a Word doc, and I just printed out labels through that. This says wishing that you have a Merry Christmas. This is from a few years ago. Nowadays, I would say Happy Holidays, just so it covers a broader audience. But these I actually had printed like through a postcard company. I think it was Vistaprint at the time. So I ordered like 500 of them. And I think I spent like $32 or something. It was double-sided on the other side. It kind of had the divided thing where I could stick the label for their address, and it had an empty spot here. And that's where I then just signed it. I also signed it on this side in Sharpie at the bottom. But sometimes I write a little like, thank you for your support, and I sign my name. But these were really popular. And again, people posted them everywhere. Okay, and before I sign off or take your questions, I just want to say that, as Chelsea said in the beginning, there are holidays year round. So all of this that I talked about was really focused on Thanksgiving, Christmas. You know, I didn't really talk about New Year's, but New Year's is definitely a thing. But you've got Easter, you have Valentine's Day, you know, you have 4th of July, you have so many different things. And I feel like I didn't do a good job of saying, like, the more bonus items you can create or short stories or things like that, the more you can infuse a connection to a holiday in that, the more you can use it. That's evergreen. You can use it every single year. I wrote like a short story set at Christmas 5 years ago, and every year I wheel that thing out and I use it, and every year people get just as excited about it, even if they haven't seen it. So if you have a recent release and you can write, you know, like a follow-up epilogue 3 years later of all of them celebrating the holiday or going on a trip or something else, that's, you know, it might take you an hour to write a 2,000, or it might take you a couple of hours to write a 2,000 or 3,000 word scene, but you can use that in so many different ways. And readers love it. They're just excited to see those characters again. Even better if you can have like a group of your, you know, if characters from several different books that get together and they all have like, you know, I don't know, a St. Patrick's Day, you know, event that happens, or there's, you know, a murder mystery that's related to something and you have multiple characters there. That's a fantastic way to take readers from one series, introduce them to readers from another series, or to just promote multiple books at one time, and you can reach multiple audiences. Okay, I mentioned at the beginning, Chelsea and my paths crossed at InkersCon. If you are interested in more marketing tips, we have over 24 classes available. You can start watching right away at InkersCon. If you go to inkerscon.com, look for the 2024 conference. There are dozens of roundtable discussions, best-selling author Q&As. You can dive into everything. It's all available on demand and available for 6 years. And you can use code LULU24 in all caps. That'll save you $50 off of the conference registration if you're interested. Okay. Does anyone have any questions?
All right. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for that. I mean, that was a ton of information, and I think really exciting. A lot of ways to approach it that feel very fun. And as you were kind of talking about writing the short stories, I was like, that's actually, I feel like, a good exercise as for the author side too, to just kind of play around with different experiences and different holidays and trying to get your readers to cross over. So awesome tips there. And also shout out to Donut for the cameo, possibly the best cameo that I've seen thus far. So shout out to that.
Donut is the absolute mess. That was one of, like, I'm going to have to write a letter, a short, it's not a story really, but I'm going to have to tell, I mentioned Donut to my newsletter readers, our newsletter subscribers, and now that's all anyone cares about is Donut. So I'm going to have to give a holiday theme.
That's right. Yeah, donuts, letters to Santa. I would subscribe to the newsletter for that. All right. So drop questions in the Q&A tab. And thank you for everyone who already has done so. The first one actually comes from YouTube. And we had a question of, how do you price signed copies? So is there a different mentality around that for the holidays?
So I don't charge an extra amount for signed copies. But for me, honestly, my whole author career, I have always, if I sell them, they're always signed copies. Nowadays, there's so much advancements with drop shipping and everything else where you can just have, copies sent directly. I've always been old school. I've always just ordered, an order and it's come to my house. And so then I sign them before I send them out. But readers nowadays don't expect signed copies. They're excited just by special editions, just by a beautiful book, especially if it has bonus content. So you don't have to do signed copies, and you could always charge an extra $5 or something like that if they want it signed and personalized. And I think that's a great thing to do because your time is valuable. And especially if you have to go through the extra step of taking it through you and then you packaging it and mailing out, it is more work. But for me, I've always undercharged. I always charged, I think, $18.99 for a signed paperback. And I think you could 100% charge more, but that was what I always charged for a book that would typically, my cost would be something like between $5 and $6. It wasn't anything special in terms of, it wasn't a hardcover. It didn't have a dust jacket or anything like that. But readers are spending money on books like crazy. I mean, it's not the world that it was 5 years ago. And I have not been great at all about keeping up with that in terms of like, there's so much money to be had if you put some extra details in your book. And if you do a proper job of packaging and promoting that, that's where readers are really, it's funny, like we had our digital age and now it's almost like they're going back to, wanting to hold and appreciating like the beauty of a print book. But oftentimes those readers will also get the ebook because a lot of times, like, they don't want to mess up the spine. They don't want to, like they buy these beautiful books and they put them, in their bookshelf. And so a lot of times they will then also get the ebook or the audio so that they can watch or listen, read it or listen to it without disturbing the paperback.
Perfect. And thank you for that question. All right. And Chocolate is asking, what is the best, or what days and time of the week are the best to do a marketing explosion for books? So any tips there?
I don't think there's any bad day or time. It's different audiences, right? Like the groups that are on social media on the weekend are oftentimes different than the groups that are on social media in the day. You're going to have a different audience in the morning versus the night. So, so I don't think there is a bad time. I think you can test it out. I think also the advertising platforms are now so sophisticated that it will typically learn your audience and it will start delivering at the times that it converts best, or that you can get the most expensive clicks. So I don't know that there's a bad time as far as like specific day of the week or time of the day. Where I do see a difference is as you get closer and closer to Black Friday. From Black Friday to Cyber Monday, costs are going to be kind of ridiculous. And if you're going after the bargain shopper, then oftentimes you're selling a lower priced product, so you can't necessarily justify, the high cost of advertising. That being said, I'm getting flooded with ads right now on my social media for Blossoms in Winter, which is like a 8-book set. And that author is selling that for $118. And she's sold like 8,000 of them, and these are readers buying this who are not familiar with her books. Like she doesn't have a whole lot of books. So, but I'm reading the comments and these are all like new to her readers. So oftentimes the way to get the price point up there and still give a deal is give a lot for a lot of money, but you know what I mean? Like feel like they're getting a lot. So don't be afraid to give if you have 15 books or 10 books or 20 books in your backlist, to have a big bundle that has all of your books and to put a price of $150 or $200 on that. And you can still have kind of that perceived value. And you're going to have, my husband is not a reader and doesn't know. And like that man has gone and bought like a reader, an author that I might've mentioned one time because I kind of liked one of her books. And then if he saw like a 32 book set, he'd be like, oh, Alessandra mentioned her one time, and so now I've got 32 books from this woman, so, but that isn't a bad thing for us as authors. Like, you're going to have a lot of people are just going to go for whatever is the most expensive because that's what they think is the best, you know? So don't be afraid to put big prices on things or to do, don't think of, I saw a really great, I just read a book, Newsletter Ninja. And one of the things she said that really stood out to me was she said, don't base your own, don't assume that your customers think the way that you do. Like, don't make marketing decisions based on your own buyer behavior. And I'm really bad about that because I am extremely cheap and I will not, and I'm also extremely space conscious. So I will not buy a lot of things, but there are so many readers that are not like me, you know? And so that's who, not everyone is like us. So just keep that in mind when you make that decision. I really went on a tangent.
No, I like that when in your talk, how you kind of outline the 3 different targets to hit, because you think it is really hard to kind of remove yourself from that and think not everyone is approaching it the way that you're approaching it. And your example of your husband is so true, because how many people live with your partner or spouse or whoever that you would buy a gift for, but you're not into what they're into, but you're trying your best to find something that is like grabbing at what they've said and trying to purchase that. So that 32 box, like hardcover box set, you know, that's a great example and good to think about as we approach marketing. All right. And then moving to social media. So are there any really good hooks for a social media grab? I know that you mentioned ChatGPT, which is a great suggestion there, but any other tried and true methods for really standing out at such a busy time on social media?
I think, you know, it's funny because it all depends on the platform. And if you're not on TikTok, it is such a great place to be. I have a love-hate relationship with TikTok, but the good thing about TikTok is you can 100% sell. Like, you don't have to warm up your audience, whatever. You can just go out the gate and film 5 videos, you know, a day that is nothing but like, buy this book. Like, you don't have to like introduce yourself or like whatever, be polite about it. It can just be like, here's why you need this book, buy it. You know, and a lot of the videos that I'm seeing, again, I mentioned I've been like flooded with Blossoms in Winter, but I've been watching and paying very close attention to her ads because I can see how many she's sold. Like with any of those books, you can click and she sells to the TikTok shop, which again, if I had my stuff together, that is where I should be selling. But I can see that she's sold 8,000 of these $118 packages, you know? So I'm like getting my calculator. I'm like, oh, you know, she's making a significant amount of money, you know? But her ads are not polished. They aren't, you know, I mean, a lot of times, like she's got text that's like half covering like the person's face, and it's not like, you know, but it feels organic. So, so as far as like tips and, it's very easy to throw away money on advertising. So I would 100% be savvy in terms of learning as much as you can about a platform before you start advertising it. Watch other authors, find authors that are successful and, you know, and follow them and learn from them, and see. And sometimes there are unicorn books. There are unicorn books that are going to sell no matter what. Colleen Hoover does not do any advertising. She does not do any marketing. If everyone followed her social media strategy, you know, it works for her and it works for her books, and people buy her books and they love her books. But she is not an author you should follow to like learn how she does it, because she's a unicorn. Like, it's just the way it is. But you have other authors that are extremely strategic and extremely intelligent. I'm not saying Colleen isn't intelligent, but Colleen, like, as far as she'll be the first to tell you, like, she doesn't know anything about marketing. Like, her books just are rock stars. But there are authors that have made their books rock stars through their marketing. Those are the authors that you want to watch and pay attention to. Amy Dawes is fantastic at it. There's another a mystery. She wrote a book called Christmas Land. She writes like, you know, cozy holiday stories. She's fantastic at it. So there are a lot of authors I would just suggest following, and you don't really need a lot of tech or anything else. And the best person to sell your books is yourself. And if you're not comfortable being on camera, that's fine. You can make great posts and great content without ever showing your face. or without ever having to, show a personality. But you need to be on a platform like TikTok where it can just be 100% sales all the time. And that's fine because that's how that one works.
Yeah. And I'll say pick monkey, I think is what you said you use quite a bit. So and I think that kind of answers the second question is Book Talk a good platform? So I think, if you can learn about it and that makes sense. And so switching gears a little bit, Arlen is asking, how did you get your movie deal? So we talked about you're selling movie rights where there were options. So can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So I've had one movie made. Hollywood Dirt was made by a platform called Passionflix. Passionflix does romance novels into movies. So I was the first movie they ever did. So they approached me. At the time, I had several books already under options from major studios. They reached out and they said, look, there's 3 of us women. We're starting a new production studio. This would be our first movie. And I will always take a meeting with anybody. I mean, because you never know like what could happen. And I had a call with them and they said, this is the first one we want to do. We want to start filming in 3 to 4 months, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, sure, sounds great. And the whole time I was like, this is never going to happen. Like, this is never going to happen. They don't have a studio. As far as I can tell, I can't tell if they have funding. Like, they haven't done this on their own. They're a new company, whatever. But I just kept saying yes. And then they would send me like the script. And I was like, oh, I read through it. I made some changes, whatever. I'm like, sounds good. I'm like, it's never going to happen. I didn't say that to them. That's what I thought to myself. And it wasn't until like, then they sent me like, oh, pictures from this, shooting locations. I'm like, looks great. Not going to happen. It wasn't like I was standing in a old Dunkin' Donuts factory that had been converted to a movie set. It was in Georgia. It was in February. It was freezing cold. They couldn't turn the heat on because it was too loud for the cameras. So we're sitting there like in parkas. And my poor little actress is in like a sundress because it's supposed to be like August. And she's having to suck on ice cubes in between takes so that her breath doesn't fog in the air. And like lights are on, it's rolling. At that point in time, I was like, I think this movie's going to happen. Like, I think this is actually going to happen. So that was Hollywood Dirt. And Sony just bought a series from me. They're going to do a TV show. So if you're interested in getting your books in film, I was lucky enough they approached me, but the right way to do it is to get a film agent. I have actually 2 film agents in Los Angeles. You want one based in Los Angeles, ideally from a major agency like APA or CAA or something like that. And then they will shop it for you. And the money sucks. You're just not, I mean, honestly, like the money isn't there, but what typically it will cause is your book sales to take off as a result. So that's that. I do see Shirley ask, I like creating a 30-day plan. Any suggestions? Work backwards from everything. Mm-hmm. So take your calendar, write your to-do list. Like, okay, I know I want to do this at Thanksgiving. I know I want to do this. I want to do a lead magnet sometime. And then say, okay, how much lead time do I need? What would be the promotional period for that versus the delivery period? And for some things like a lead magnet, they're going to kind of be the same. Like one is going to instantly trigger the other. You're not going to have to do much. You're just going to have to spend a couple hours setting it up the first time. So then you just need to block out that time. And then just kind of look at your calendar as a whole and say, okay, what are the to-do items I need to do? And when do I need to, set deadlines for each thing? And just make sure, again, that you're always ideally 30 days. And 30 days might not be enough. Chelsea, I mean, what are kind of lead times that you suggest if I wanted to do, a short, like a novella book that I wanted to have in hand by December 15th, when would I need to submit that file?
Well, I mean, I think it depends on how fast you write. I think 30 days could work, but really you want to give yourself at least 2 weeks to get the books and to proof them. Don't skip out on a proof copy. I would highly recommend giving yourself time for that. So I would almost double it. Give yourself 60 days just so you have plenty runway. Alessandra mentioned this, but as you get into the holidays, of course, you are going to see more carriers taking longer, delivery times and shipping times. So I would almost, if you have the luxury of doubling it, I know saying this on September 25th is maybe not, but I just think it's really important if you are offering a print product to give yourself that time for a proof copy. So that's kind of why I like to add in a couple weeks at least. So that would be my recommendation.
Love it.
And I think that we got through all the questions, and I know that we are at the end of the hour just going over. So thank you so much for being with us. This is very exciting, a ton of great information. And I will say the other half of InkersCon, Teresia will be with us next week to talk about email marketing. So now you have a couple days to get all of your marketing in place and start firing off those emails at our webinar next week. So Alessandra, anything you'd like to leave us with? Social media links, websites, where can the people find you?
I just want to say, I didn't realize Tracy was going to be talking to you guys. So if you're interested in anything I talked about, like lead magnets, absolutely attend that, because that will dive into it with much better detail. And she knows everything there is to know about that. So anything, a lot of what I talked about, anything on the email side, please check that out. And you guys can find me on any major social media network. And if you're interested in marketing, business, advertising, or craft in terms of fiction writing, absolutely check out InkersCon. But thank you so much, Chelsea. It was fantastic to be here.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for fitting us in between the hurricane touching down and Donut running rampant in the background. But thank you so much. It was such a joy to have you here. Thank you to everyone who joined us. I appreciate it. Hope everybody stays safe and dry with the incoming weather if you are in the path. And thank you for spending time with us today. Alessandra, have a great day, and we will see you next time.
Thanks,
Bye,
guys.
everybody.